Welcome to the Kitchen Garden BBQ from the Barbecue Barn. Joining us is the talented chef, Shane Bagley.
Today we're going to be doing the rotisserie pineapple pork belly with a Mojo potato salad. This is one of my favorite recipes. Using the rotisserie you get fantastic crackling, and the pineapple with the meat, the acids in it help break it down and it becomes really soft, almost pulled pork texture, but it only takes about 2.5 hours tops versus 12 to 24 hours for a pulled pork. So we're going to start with our marinade, which we go ahead and grab a good handful of spring onions and just chop quite small. You can use a blender or a mortar and pestle if you have one. Main thing is you just want to get everything chopped up as much as possible so all those aromatic juices start to leach out into the oil and mix into the meat and the potatoes when we put it on. After our spring onion, we'll go ahead with 3 cloves of garlic. And I'm going to show you a nice chefy trick when it comes to mincing garlic. If you go ahead, crush them with your knife, peel them like that, and then before you go to mince them, just add a few sea salt flakes, and this will really help act as an abrasive, and you can move your knife on the side and break it up into a paste. Okay. Next we'll go ahead and add a good handful of coriander. Go ahead and chop right through the stalks. You don't need to be fussy and pick through the leaves. We're going to be chopping them up small, and there's not going to be any fibers left when we've done cooking it and dressed the potatoes with it. Now a few leaves of mint. Just mash them up into a nice little bundle. Slice them up small. Get it all together. Pop that in with the spring onions. Now for our orange zest. You want the zest of about half of an orange. If you have too much, it starts to taste a bit heavy on the orange. Whole lemon. And all the citrus in this dish really cuts through all the sort of rich fatty flavors of the pork belly, and that paired with the sweetness and the acid in the pineapple just goes so nice together. We'll go ahead and give our citrus a nice squish, cut it in half, juice it all. Make sure not to get the pips in. If you have a citrus press, that'll make it easier, but I forgot to pack one today. And now, good heavy handful of salt. And once again, lots of rapeseed oil. You always want to use rapeseed oil when barbecuing. It has a much higher flash point, so it doesn't go bitter and acrid when you're cooking. Not like olive oil, which can actually just become really kind of nice, unpleasant when it gets too hot. So go ahead and start prepping our pork belly. So the key thing is a couple hours beforehand, you just want to give it a bit of a score. Oftentimes the butchers have already done that for you, and then give it a good salt, and that'll help draw up all the moisture into the skin. And if you look, you can see a few little water droplets across. I'm just going to take some kitchen towel and dab it dry. It's really key. You want to make sure that the skin is as dry as possible. And then go ahead and add a little bit more salt, a tiny bit more oil. Rub that in and add even more salt. So next, we're going to go ahead and pop our marinade on the other side. And now we'll leave that just to chill for a minute while we slice up our pineapple. Very popular accompaniment to pork. You got all those sugars and those acids, and it also has a natural enzyme in it called bromelain, which helps break down a lot of proteins. So meats that can be generally quite tough and chewy actually become very, very tender after being marinated in pineapple. And that's why it's so classically served with gammon. In Korean barbecue, they use it loads as a pork marinade. It's just, yeah, fantastic stuff. So I'm gonna go ahead and take one bit and slice it quite fine, and we're gonna chop it up and add it to our mojo marinade. Just pop that in there. And then next, we're gonna do a few long spears that we're actually gonna stuff inside the pork belly for while it cooks. And as it slowly gets warmer and the meat starts sort of steaming in its own juices inside, that acid inside the pork, or inside the pineapple, is really gonna help make our pork belly more tender. Lay them on here. And next, I'll pop some gloves on. We'll go ahead and trice this up. So I've got some twine here. Let's just go ahead and roll it up into a nice big joint like that. And we'll use about three bits of string to hold it. Once you've done this a few times, you can get really good with the butcher's knots and do it with all one bit of string and feel really proud of yourself. But for the rest of us, just individual cuts and an overhand knot work fine. Make sure to trim off any excess so they don't catch and singe when it's on the rotisserie. And there we go. Next, we're going to go ahead and pop it on the spit. So take your spit, the sharp end out, and slide it right through the middle. Be gentle not to impale your finger the other side. And then we've got these little claws we're going to slide on each side. And these are really going to help it stay in place and not flop around at all too much while it's roasting. Tighten up the wing nuts. Now that we've got it ready, it's looking fantastic. I'm gonna go pop it on the grill. I've got my charcoal baskets just on the side here, and I'm gonna go ahead and dump one whole lit chimney starter. And then use my tongs to move them into the middle, set up for direct cooking for the first 10 minutes of the recipe, and then we will switch it to indirect. Next, I'm going to pop my rotisserie ring on. And the motor. This is already smelling so amazing with the fresh mint and coriander. Just going to slide it in to the motor, turn it on, and bang the lid on. So now I'm going to leave it to roast on direct heat for about 10 minutes. And then move the charcoal baskets apart and put the drip pan underneath for indirect heat for the rest of the cook.
And Shane, if you were doing this on a gas grill, can you use a rotisserie? Can you do the same, achieve the same effect with the rotisserie on the gas grill?
100%. It comes out. It's even easier to do on a gas grill than a charcoal grill.
Right. How would you set it? How would you set a gas grill up?
You want to have your two fire burners on and the burner underneath on to the start for the first 10 minutes, and then turn the middle burner off, and then just have the two exterior burners on, and still with the drip pan underneath, because you get lots of fat dripping out of that pork belly, and we don't want to cause any flare-ups.
Oh, wonderful. So you'd have exactly the whole concept of indirect on your gas grill.
100%. You still get that nice smoky flavor from the singed pork drippings and everything like that, so it's delicious. our pork's been on about an hour now, so we're gonna go ahead and prep our potatoes, which are just new potatoes. We're gonna really roughly chop them in half, nothing too fancy, nice and quick. And these are actually gonna go in the drip tray that we put underneath the pork belly, and they're gonna catch all those roasting juices and turn into lovely sort of almost a porky potato fondant underneath. And then we're gonna put that really light, fresh Mojo dressing with all the citrus. And it's just gonna really pop and become really nice, fresh, but heavy, unctuous dish. So I've just turned the rotisserie off on this. The smells coming out of this are amazing. Whoa. We've got all this caramelization of the sugars from the citrus and the pineapple coming out of it. Our potatoes have gone all lovely and squidgy. Let's go ahead and take this over to the chopping block. All right, this smells amazing. We've let our pork belly rest for about 20-25 minutes. Our potatoes are still nice and warm. We kept them cooking on the grill for a bit longer, so let's go ahead and take it off the spit. Oh, the meat's starting to pull out with it. The next thing we want to do is make sure to cut all those little bits of twine that we put on before. Oh, you can hear that crackling. Okay, let's cut into this bad boy. Right through the crackling. Sounds like popcorn going. And look at that. You've got the pineapple is almost disintegrated into nothing, and look at all that juice. So let's go ahead and start dressing these potatoes. Get them into our bowl. Oh, they smell amazing. Still nice and piping hot. All that nice burnt lemon and citrusy flavor. And then we've got our fresh salsa going on to them. Really lighten the dish up. And then we're gonna go ahead and pop our pork on. Whoa, look at that. Bit more of the salsa all the way down. And it smells amazing.
We hope you enjoyed the recipe. Go on, give it a go. We look forward to seeing some of your cooks on social media. And don't forget to hashtag BBQ Barn when posting.